allowed to do much at all in Bond films, are they?
No.
They're usually just laid and that's that.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, yes.
What I mean is, it's nice when they do something else as well, but it's always a pleasure
They
to
don't
see
mind.
that happening
Yes,
on screen.
yes, yes. Oh, yes.
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
I must be dreaming.
What about the name Pussy Galore? Because obviously there's a certain humorous double meaning to the word, which I think schoolboys have enjoyed ever since it was first penned. Were they
There's
always...
still lots of schoolboys about, yeah.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm one of them. Was there ever a chance they were going to change the name, or were they always confident that they could get away with it?
I never heard of any thought of ever changing it. Of course, when I did the promotion tour in America, there were some stations that wouldn't say it, and they were very po-faced about it. So I used to make a great point of saying it myself. It seems to me ridiculous with a silly item like an Ian Fleming story that you should take it so seriously.
I got a license to kill, and you know I'm going straight for your heart. Got a license to kill anyone who tries to tell.
There we are. Not bad at all. How many times did it take Sean Connery to get his hat on there as when he was Bond?
Once it took him 27 times, and then they handed the hat over to the property man.
You see, I'm more a man than he ever was.
Well, I'm not telling anybody how many times you've practiced.
Okay, yeah, but it wasn't bad once the camera was running.
That was excellent.
Do you have fond memories of your years with Bond? I'm sure you do, because you were in, was it 14 of the movies
14.
as Moneypenny?
14. I have very fond memories. I was treated like the sort of queen mum of the Bond set.
For your eyes only can see me through the night. For your eyes only, I never need to hide.
What did you make of the Bond girls as part of the Bond ingredient? How important do you think they were?
Oh, I think they were terribly important because they were every man's fantasy, weren't they? I mean, every man in the whole world wanted a blonde with big bosoms and long legs and...
At least one.
At least one, yeah.
And what about Moneypenny? What did Moneypenny make of James Bond's unquenchable thirst for new flesh?
Well, I think Moneypenny was initially hurt, but then just took it in their stride.
I've never seen you after hours, Moneypenny. Lovely.
Thank you, James.
Out on some kind of professional assignment, dressing to kill?
You'll find this crushing, 007. And I don't sit at home every night praying for some international incident so I can run down here all dressed up to impress James Bond. I was on a date, if you must know, with a gentleman. We went to the theatre together.
Oh, Moneypenny, I'm devastated. What would I ever do without you?
As far as I can remember, James, you've never had me.
The various pictorials you featured over the years of Bond girls, is this a kind of official relationship you have here, or is it just kind of happy coincidence that the women are prepared to pose for Playboy and that...
It depends on the circumstances. In other words, there's certainly always been a close relationship with the producers of the films and with Ian. Whether or not we got the leads did depend very much on the actresses. But we've been very fortunate in that over the years. And, of course, there's some classic examples like Ursula Andress and Kim Basinger, who actually had their careers created in a real way through the combination of the Bond films and their appearance in Playboy.
There was always a tie-in between the Bond films and Playboy magazine. Would you have done a nude or semi-nude Playboy spread?
Oh, yes, in those days I would have, so because I certainly needed the money.
It seemed to me, Famke, that the women appeared in Bond movies almost always appeared semi-clad or completely naked in Playboy magazine, and I'm just curious and a little bit hopeful, I don't know. Have they asked you, or would you be doing that?
They asked me, and I declined, yes. I'm not interested.
Well, they did ask me, actually, once.
Playboy asked you?
No, Cosmopolitan had the centre page spread. Burt Reynolds, I think, was the first. And they said that would be covered up by my holding a Luger.
Because they never had them completely nude, did they? There was always something, obscuring the centre
I
fold.
suggested that not even a machine gun.
Not me.
No interest?
No.
Even if they kept the ankles covered?
Maybe we could talk then.
played against some of the world's most beautiful women. I mean, you had some of the most fabulous women playing against you. Fond memories of those days, of making those films?
Yeah, because you'd have a lot of laughs, you know, because the, you know, love scenes on movies are really a joke. You know, how can you be serious about it when you got sort of 45 sparks leaning down over the rail at you, you know, so, go on, give her one, Rog.
Can I ask you about that? Because actors always say, whenever you ask an actor about a love scene and you say, you know, here you are, you're completely nude with this beautiful woman, or in your case, not nude, but you've got famke, once again, legs wrapped firmly round your midriff, sir.
Yes.
I put it to you that this is indeed a pleasurable way to spend the day and not the hard work you would have us believe.
Oh, you think you can hurt me?
Well, that scene was a tough scene because it's a fighting scene, but you're not sure if they're kind of, you know, doing the beast with two backs or...
They're enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah, sure. She's got a nice body. It's very nice.
So how can that possibly be tough?
Well, it's tough because you can't show any breasts in these movies, so you have to make sure that the breast is covered and lying there, and so it becomes very technical.
Yeah,
I mean, you look, you're a boy, you look, you have certain sensations, certain things you have to... More water, please.
On the train, when you told him to kill me, and that I meant nothing to you, did you mean it?
Yes. Basic rule. Always call that bluff.
It seems to me that now in the 90s, it's okay again for a man to admit that he wants to be like James Bond. He wants to be tough and rough, and he wants to get the girls, ideally plural. But I wonder whether, do you think that women identify with the women in Bond movies again? Do you think we've come full circle like that?
I shouldn't think the women identify with women in Bond movies because most of them are bimbos. And I think that the feminist cry is still in full cry, I hope.
You know, these, the new man, the new lad, the young man of today, does he want to drive very, very fast cars, and lots of beautiful women want to go to bed with him and go around shooting people? Yes. Yes, I think, I mean, there might be one or two boys brought up in a feminist creche who think, heavens, is that the time I must get on with the ironing? But most of them are going, what the hell, hello there, I'm afraid.
There was an increased sensibility related to the political climate in the 80s, so that James Bond became a little politically, a little too correct. And you can't do that with Bond. I mean, what is delightful about Bond is it's a fantasy. I mean, if you're going to have the license to kill, you better have the license to do whatever else you got to do to play out the role.
I mean, what would be more interesting, perhaps, ask how many women would like to be a Bond girl now. I think you'll find that would be the big change.
I mean, they would want to win Bond, but they would rather be a pussy galore in as much as she would be somebody who would approach him on an equal level.
People want to see Bond handle women a certain way. He's a chauvinist. This guy acquits himself, true to himself, and that's what turned the audience on way back when Sean did it.
You think I'm an accountant, a bean counter, more interested in my numbers than your instincts.
The thought had occurred to me.
Good. Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War.